Today on the farm, we're gonna do something I didn't think we'd be doing again. Last year, I grew and marketed 14 different crops on the farm, and I thought that would be my final year growing potatoes. I have managed to create a small demand for my potatoes, as with most of my vegetable crops, or all my vegetable crops. I sell my potatoes direct to end consumer. I do have a few small wholesalers that buy from me and then resell, and they have urged me to keep growing potatoes. I really didn't want to grow potatoes because I can't get my yield where I think it needs to be very profitable. But one of my wholesalers went ahead and bought the seed potatoes and delivered them to my store. So we're gonna grow potatoes one more time, at least one more time, see if we can make it profitable this year. It's just as well because I have potato equipment that's sitting here getting vines growed up on it. I got a potato planter right here, and I got a potato digger or lifter over yonder. So we're gonna get after it one more time. The first step in potato planting for me is to cut up all my seed potatoes. I want to make sure I have at least 2 eyes on each piece. Sometimes I'll have more eyes, but I just want to make sure I have at least 2 on each piece when I cut them. And the reason I'm cutting them is I'm going to make the seed go further by doing this. It will plant more area, but also if you plant a whole potato, the moisture what is contained inside this potato will often make the potato rot before it creates a plant. So you will end up just rotting the potato and you won't have anything. So I will cut it and we will let them sit in here spread out for a day or two in containers and sometimes in these bags, and let air move across them until this all this moisture is kind of wicked away and they scab over. And once they've scabbed over and lost a lot of this moisture, then we take them to the potato planter. I'm planting about 500 pounds of potatoes this year. I'm planting red Lesotho, Yukon Gold, and red Pontiac. This is the Pontiacs here. I got the Pontiacs from Blakely Feed and Seed, and my red Lesotho and my Yukon Golds come from one of the guys I sell potatoes to. He purchased those and brought them down here to me. I personally prefer the red Lesotho. They yield higher for me than any of the other ones, and they are the ones that my clients, the people who come to my store here and buy produce from me, they prefer the red Lesotho to any of the other potatoes. They have the best taste. I am ready to plant the potatoes now, and I've got a very unique spot we're going to plant the potatoes at. Most of my farm is South Georgia red clay, which is not conducive to growing potatoes. Nobody wants a dirty red potato, clay stuck all over it. So you can't grow potatoes in red clay if you plan on selling them. So I had to find places that don't have red clay, and on my farm, those places are few and far between. However, I have this little spot right behind my house in this lane in the woods that does not have clay in it. It is a lighter dirt. I have fertilized it and subsoiled it, got it tilled up nice and deep till so we can lift the taters out of the ground once we get them made. And the plan is I'm putting 450 pounds of potato seed in here, or seed potatoes in here. I'm wanting to gather a 9-to-1 ratio, which means I'm looking for about 4,000 pounds of potatoes to come out of here around Memorial Day weekend. I've chosen this little lane not just because it's lighter dirt, but it's also right beside the well for my pecan orchard, so I can run drip irrigation in this lane. And also, it was 39 degrees this morning in South Georgia. It was 39. If those tater plants are up above ground and we get a frost, which is highly likely, that will not be a good thing. So in this little lane, this lane runs mostly east to west. It does have a slight northeast to southwest tilt, but it is mostly east to west. And so if we get the cold northern wind bringing in a frost or cold temperatures, they are protected from by the trees on that side, and a frost will glide over the top of this area. It will not fall in here. I will not receive a frost in this lane. If I had the potatoes out of this lane, out on the edge of the field in some light dirt, they would receive a heavy frost. Within the bounds of this tight little lane, the frost will miss them because of the trees protecting them. So I'm protecting them from a frost by planting them in here. The other thing is, potatoes are a full sun crop, so shade, no good. So it's very important that this lane run east to west because the sun rises right over there, sets right over there. And so they have very little shadow. There's a little bit of shadow in here right now. This is the peak amount of shadow they will receive at any point. As we go more into the growing season, to get more into the spring, the earth tilts back down, and this shadow will be smaller at this time of day once potatoes get above ground. And as they get into the flowering stage, this shadow is all but non-existent during the middle of the day. This will be full sun. So this is the perfect place to put these taters in the dirt. We're planting 3 varieties today. We're gonna start out with my very favorite, the red Lesotho. My left side bed is throwing up a lot better than the right side. The right side's not doing as good of a mound. And so you can take your chains here and pull this chain that way, and it'll pull this disc in, and pull this chain this way and hook it up top, and it'll pull this disc in. So it pulls them in closer together to gather that dirt up to a taller mound. Now these are pulled tighter than that one is, but for some reason the left row unit is getting a little deeper than the right unit is. So I'm having to adjust this right one a little differently than the left one because it's not sinking as deep. So we're gonna pull the disc in tighter and try to heel it up higher on this road.